Hello, everyone. Hello. Well, I don't know about you, but I've been feeling the energy lately is just kind of, it's a little intense, it's a little unnerving, a little dangerous. Hello, Barbie in Florida. Welcome to the channel. Welcome to the channel, everybody. Hi, Michelle. Well, we got some stuff happening for sure. There's a lot of stuff going on. Hi, Paul. Energy is really intense. It's like we got some folks out there just like, well, you can see it's like the boulder rolling downhill. Hello from Australia. Hello. It does. It does. It's intense. This sharp, dangerous energy. It's like, yeah. Well, there's some things happening, you know? I mean, God said that the land was going back to the original people, and we see that they're being targeted right now. So that's kind of scary, and I don't know what's going to happen there, but I'm just going to try to stay calm. Hello. Let's check in and see what storyline that Spirit has for us, perhaps for the planetary system situation. You know, maybe for like the United States, like what's going on? I mean, I know that there's some stuff happening. There's a whole lot of stuff going on. I'll just, yeah. What in the world is going on? You know, Karen, that happened to me a few days ago. It was like really early in the evening, and all of a sudden I got so sleepy and I just went to bed. That happened 2 days in a row. Or like early in the evening, I was just so tired. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on. If it's if there's a harvest of sorts going on, or if the divine just says, "Hey, go to bed because we need you over here in this other realm," you know? So I think sometimes that might be what's happening is that when we get sleepy like that, I think maybe we're just needed elsewhere, and so we have to put the flesh temple to sleep so that we can go where it is we're needed. I mean, that's just a theory, I suppose. All right, Michelle, let's get to it then. All right. You know, I mean, yeah, because sometimes you just get real sleepy all of a sudden, and it's like, oh, it's like kind of like God is like, hey, you know, daughter, son, I need you over here right now. I mean, we got some business got to take care of, and it's like they were calling you or summoning you or something into another realm or whatever. All right, so well, on the bottom of the deck, somebody's in regret. Somebody's in regret. It could be somebody's in regret that the queen has all the pentacles, or the queen of pentacles is laying something to rest. Adding you to the report. What are you talking about? I haven't even said anything. Info on crimes. Are you making an accusation, A12? Let's get with it then. Oh, for Pete's sake. It absolutely is. All right. This is what projectionists do. They're typically masculines, as far as I can tell. They're the most vicious. They're like the little bitches, you know, that get on there and they start, you're the evil witch, God burn you. I mean, some of those guys, they're so freaking insane. Projectionists, man, they're out there doing crimes and then they want to come in and harass the one that is revealing some of it. It's crazy. It's like, because you're picking up on this storyline, they're accusing you of doing it. It's like, wow, dude, guilty much? All right. In the central energy, what do we got going on? Well, we have a celebration. In the challenge position, we have the Page of Wands. In the subconscious, woo! Well, what do we got going on here? My goodness. I think there's another one in here that flipped over. Yeah. Well, all right. So we got abusive relationships here. So the order that they came out in is abusive relationships. And then we've got well, I don't know what's going on. It could be that this Emperor here is dealing with those who were creating conflict and abusive relationships and leaving them behind. So that could be the celebration. So we have a leader here, yeah, leaving behind those who were all about abusive relationships. So that fella that was on here just a minute ago was probably one of those fellows that's getting left behind. So of course they're attacking Divine Feminine to try to make a list of all the Divine Feminines that must be burned. Yeah, you know, because we're revealing the secrets of their crimes and they're so freaking eager to stick their crimes onto us. I kicked him. I blocked him. He was getting a little out of hand. He's just going to have to go deal with it. Whatever. Take it up with the higher courts. So in the recent past, ooh, judgment. Yeah, judgment. So this dude is like obviously under judgment and he's making a list. He's in that Knight of Swords energy or whatever, trying to defend himself. Intentions and expectations. Nostalgia. So I heard God say some time ago that the need for vengeance is in the history. So we've got judgment here regarding the history of what folks have been doing here with their abusive conflict toward the divine feminines, towards the females and the masculines. You know, they've been dealing with the masculines differently than they've been dealing with the feminines. It's a different kind of abuse, more subtle, but very very terrible. Hello, Danielle. Hello. All right, so judgment has been called according to the history and in the near future. Hello, Gavin. Ooh, this one came out. Ooh, justice. So judgment has been called according to the history, and here in the near future, we've got justice, the law of cause and effect. So what's happening now is we got some folks that are upset. Now, God stated that the land was going back to the indigenous people. We have indigenous people getting attacked right now, and it's like there's some men or entities in a man's suit at war with God right now. So there's been some fighting going on in the spiritual realms, and it seems to be manifesting here in the 3D now. So it looks to be like there's going to be some stuff. And apparently in the Bible, it said that it's going to look like the devil is winning for a while, that there's going to be some, people transitioning and such before God comes in and actually lays down the hammer or something. I don't know. That's just what the story says, but I haven't really received any information on that. So, but we got justice here in the near future, judgment in the near recent past, recorded according to the history, and now justice is being served here in the near future. The lens is being looked through. Five of Pentacles, they're losing everything. And so, because we're picking up on the truth of what these nasties have been doing, they want to transfer the blame and the shame for it. And this is what they do. They're professional projectionists, illusionists, and they're very brutal about it. And they know magic and stuff. So they're pretty good. And they're very good with their words because they use words to twist the minds of people. So they're very good at their little bullet-pointed summarizations of things. Thank you, Baker. I hope so. I do hope so. Because it's feeling it's like I'm sitting on the couch, kind of just feeling the energy, and it actually feels very vicious, like real vicious. And then the words little bitch ran through my mind. I'm like, oh, somebody's mad. Somebody's real mad. So they're losing their pentacles. They're trying to project or flip the script. You survived, divine feminines. I'm thinking that these are the nasties. I'm not trying to leave you out, divine masculines, and it could be that you're experiencing this story, in the flip-flop there with the gender thing, but it really appears to be that there's some folks out there that are so mad that you're still like in position coming into what God has for you. They weren't able to take it, so they're angry. He came back. What a load. The he's got some wackiness going on in his head. He actually created a new account and came back right away. Wow. He's having a short circuit, obviously. Scripture says, he's saying that scripture says that reading the cards is like the devil stuff. The only reason he's so upset is because like the story is coming out and people can see what's happening and they're getting in trouble for it. So they're trying to say it's the devil's work. Well, dude, I'm not out there RAPing anybody. I'm not out there visiting people's channels just to be evil and accuse them of being a devil. I'm not. I'm just minding my own business, telling my story here on my own channel. And you got some real nasty people that are getting triggered by it. They're triggered by everything, though. Yes, exactly, Paul. He's short circuiting. Obviously, he must be in this. Like justice, the law of cause and effect is here. And he's trying to transfer, it sounds to me as though he's trying to transfer this blame onto a tarot reader or tarot readers because he's trying to convince the courts that it's evil. And I can tell you, I suffered like mental RAP. These men were in my head being so foul and vicious, telling me how they were going to violate me 24 hours a day. And there were so many horrific things that they were doing into the mental space. And I had to deal with it 24/7. This was like 24/7 all day long. So you really have to manage yourself when you're being verbally RAPE'd in the mental body. It was really horrid. But out of it all, I got some kind of a trauma bond or whatever with a collective of folks. And now I'm sitting here telling their story and they're so mad because after 20, it was like 20 years. And then spirit guided me to watch tarot. And then Estrella, actually, I was watching Estrella, and Estrella, I'm like, well, maybe I could use that layout. So spirit kind of guided me into using these to kind of tell a story and then to kind of lay my mind to rest, because sometimes the energy gets really chaotic and the mind can kind of spin a little bit. And so in order to settle, spirit taught me or led me to teach myself, or however that worked, how to read the cards so that I could like say, oh, well, it's not that bad. And I could just settle, And after about a year of doing that, I decided to share the messages because I thought, well, maybe because it helps me calm down, maybe it'll help others. And there's nothing, I'm not out here trying to expose anybody. I'm just like trying to figure out, why am I so upset? Why is my energy feeling destabilized? What's going on here? So I started pulling cards just to see what in the heck's going on in the energy. And that's what started showing up. So in the environment, we have the Page of Swords. So there's some restless mental energy. Somebody may be like trying to figure out, how to communicate whatever it is they're trying to say, because they've been out there, whipping swords and telling lies and projecting blame and all of that stuff onto others. And that's exactly what they're doing right now, because that's their motto, that's their gig, that's how they do it. That's how they are in the world. So they're really angry because they were judged according to the history, and the law of cause and effect is here. So they're in this Five of Pentacles, and they're trying to figure out a new way to communicate, right? And they're making their list, they're naming names, they're like, these tarot readers are telling this story, they can't say that they're not part of the crime. And it's like, dude, stay out of my energy. Maybe I would stop picking up on your story, for Pete's sake. Projectionist, blame, narcissist, misogynist. It's always the woman's fault. She can see what I'm doing. The evil bitch can see what I'm doing. Oh, punish her. And I'm like, God, it's crazy. They have a personality disorder, for sure. Hopes and fears, we got the Strength. They could be afraid of your courage, of your strength. Like, they think that you're very strong. They're not able to, like, they've been talking about mighty shield and stuff. No. Yeah, TSX sacred. Yeah. It's like the dude's getting in this energy here, and he's stalking and hating and projecting, and now obviously whatever he's been doing wasn't working because he actually decided to speak out and get verbal with it. Well, let it be a record. Hello. Well, I'm alive because, God decided that I should be alive, and I'm grateful for that. Absolutely. And we got the love cup and the outgoing energy. Thank you, Crystal. So you're very strong. You got an ace of cups left. Ooh, and you're in your... Ooh, God is moving you on down the road. Boom, 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 boom. You're in your chariot. You're in God's chariot or whatever, and you're going on to the land of divine love. Big old cup of love. We got some folks out there, they love to say that because of medicine, most everybody in the United States has taken some kind of a medicine. And because of the poison, we got poison air, poison water, poison food, everything is poison. Everything is a chemical created in some lab, and it's not. It destroys the body. And then when the body starts getting sick, what do? They send you to the doctor who gives you medicine, which is managing the symptoms of sickness. It's dis-ease, and that's what they have given to everybody. And so when they get them on that medicine, they say that they own the body then and everything that's in it because of the failure, right? But it's not medicine. It's just sick care, and it continues to deteriorate the vessel that's housing spirit and soul. It's a trap. So it looks like you got a big old cup of love here, and you got your chariot. So we got love. You're moving on down the road. You got some victory here. You're very strong. And the Hierophant is bringing you to the land of total love and support. These ones are so mad. They say that you don't deserve it. So just like this dude that was just there being all mean, he got kicked out. He got aced out. And Divine Feminine, it looks like, well, must be because he's so angry. I don't see Divine Feminine out here yet. I got a big old cup of love, though, and Divine Love with counterparts and such. Because, you know what? Because they were fighting with you all the time. Well, Danielle, I used to ask myself that a lot. Sometimes I still do, but, yeah. You got that inner divine that needs some tender love and care. So, yeah. So you made it, we got, yeah. Whoa. Okay. So somebody was in competition and they were making an investment in proposing to people and then committing fraud, being a trickster. So this is a trickster spirit. We got lots of trickster spirits out here who have been using relationships and words of love and sex encounters to drain people's spiritual bank account. They're in trouble because the Queen of Cups, the love of the Divine Feminine is leaving home, and it looks like well, we got a King of Pentacles here and a Knight of Wands. There could be a King of Pentacles who's feeling very protective or very passionate towards an Empress. Take it as it resonates. The Power of 3 that was coming after that, they're in a painful ending. We got Sacrifice. So the people that was coming against this homecoming, they're having a painful ending. And hence the this energy, this heavy energy, this attack energy, they're so mad. It's like, you little bitch. This is what they're saying. So they're mad. You got some angry frauds. All they know is fighting, and they like to fight with women. That's what they do. They like to fight with the women. But first they have to, F-U-C-K them. Pretend that they love them. So we got a 3 of Cups in the central energy. Oh, thank you. So we got the 3 of Cups. Celebration. Somebody's happy. Well, that hopped right out of there, didn't it? Oh, so we got a celebration and we got Casanova. Now, I don't know what's going on here. We're going to have to get some clarification. There's some kind of celebration about Casanova. Page of Wands. We'll get more clarification on that. Whoa. Walls closing in. You're free. So there's a celebration because it looks like Casanova is challenged because the walls are closing in. It could be that you're free and you're removing the walls that was built by cultural differences. Unbreakable. The other day, Spirit said that the curse was broken. The Emperor is here, walking away or leaving behind or causing some kind of a disappointment for the trickster. Who is all about abusive relationships, thieving from people, bullying people. That's most certainly what that one fellow, he was here bullying. Being a bully. It's like, dude, stop attacking me. Just go away. Why are you coming to my page to attack me? Just because I'm revealing the truth of Casanova and what they've done. They're so angry because they got busted. That's why they've burned the prophets and the prophetesses and the oracles so much, because we can see the nastiness and they want to stay hidden. Is somebody talking about Trump? Twin flame. Okay, so the Emperor is here, and it looks like he's walking away or leaving behind the thief, those who were stealing from the twin flames. Ooh. The Emperor is chopping out those that were stealing from the twin flames. So those who were using their gifts, their gifts to spy on people and find out what twin flames were coming together, and then to step in as a false flame and kind of redirect that. So the Emperor is walking away or abandoning or leaving behind those thieves and bullies of the twin flame. Could be his twin flame. This Casanova, they're under judgment. Under judgment. Ooh, they're under judgment and danger is approaching. The dead are rising. Those sacrifices. A sense of foreboding fills the air and weighs on your mind. A lurking menace stalks you and keeps you alert. Oopsie. So, and that was because of the history of what they've done. It's like, whoa. And apparently this has been going on for thousands of years. This loop that we have been on, Spirit said, like, prisoners of war is what the twin flames have been. They've been like prisoners of war, but they've been emancipated. So that's good. And that, well, he's there trying to project his own. He's trying to say, because I'm picking up on this story that I'm somehow involved. And it's like, well, if you count 22 years of mental RAP, energetic harvesting, and brutalizations of many kinds, yeah, while they were trying to siphon my soul, yeah, no, they didn't get it. And they're upset because I survived, like many of you, and now justice is prevailing. And I can tell the story because I spent 22 years, being mentally RIP'd by this collective, this group, whatever it is. So obviously I have their damn thing. So yeah, so it's because of the history of exploiting people. They're under judgment for exploiting people. Justice is happening. The law of cause and effect. We got no more small offerings. We're not trading nothing for something anymore. The law of cause and effect. So the gifts, these ones have been, so they've been tapping into consciousness because they made a small offer with somebody who had all of the clairs. And then they exchanged gifts. So here, okay, you can have that and I'll take that. And that's what he did. So, and then he misused the clairs to go stalk other people and then to trap them also, to trade gifts, and that's how they were making wealth. So they're in big trouble and they're losing everything. And they're like, it's your fault. It's like, no, I'm just seeing it. And I survived 22 years of mental torture and energetic siphoning. And they were prostituting the energy. They feel that if you're a single woman, they can do whatever they want with you. It's pretty sick. Apparently, there was some kind of a contract that had to expire before God could step in. I think, a lot of people ask, well, why is God allowing this? There was like some kind of a contract, and there was an appointed time where there was going to be like a transference or some kind of a thing, and they were trying to make sure that we didn't qualify. And they're still upset because you qualified, and they were losing everything, and they're mad. What do you mean catfished here, Gerber? There's no catfishing going on here, unless you're a catfish. So we're not taking no more small offers. We're not doing that anymore. Absolutely not. It's going to be an equal exchange. It's going to be a match. And that's what's going on. So God, I believe, has already like judged everybody and then said, okay, this is, and then he matched people, like power couples came together, matchy match. And these ones are really mad and they're slipping in energy and words. Like I was sitting there, somebody, you little bitch. So somebody's real mad at me apparently. And they're probably, yeah, so, you know, what's new, man? It's been going on for over 20 years, all this nasty stuff that they've been saying in my psychic mind. Trying to get me institutionalized like so many others. And they're mad because we survived and they can't send us back or burn us at the stake again. It's like it's done. They can't burn us again. I hope. Anyway, so they're having a financial loss because there is unity in diversity, embracing differences to create a harmonious and balanced partnership, divinely guided toward union. They're in a 5 of Pentacles. They're losing everything because the divine feminine is being divinely guided toward their match. Not this, but an actual match. Which means they're losing everything. That's all done. Justice is being served here. There's no more, all that stuff. Any contract that was like this or any connection that was like that is being undone. And that's the law of cause and effect. So they're losing everything. Page of Swords. They could be restless in the mental body. They could be like freaking out a little bit. Sudden wealth. His mind is racing. This Page of Swords is feeling really restless regarding sudden wealth. They might be thinking of your sudden wealth, what you're coming into. This reason, the whole reason that they were all ganging up, trying to brutalize you and exploit you and frame you for crimes by exchanging gifts and then turning you into somebody who had nothing and then saying you were nothing. And the sickening thing about it is these are pages. So they're targeting very young, very vulnerable, very innocent people who actually still believe in love because they haven't been crushed by a liar yet. So they're strong. So you're strong. So you've got the Strength card, strong family ties. Sudden wealth. So they're having restless mental. So because they're interested in the money that goes to this family, he's thinking about the sudden wealth. He's interested in it. He wants to get a family tie with somebody because that's the only way that he can have access to the wealth, is if he gets it here from this divine feminine. These particular Casanovas, that's the only way they can get wealth, is by harvesting it out of the divine feminine. And they use relationship. That's their favorite, what they have called weapon of war. So you're very strong. You've got very strong family ties. And they're interested, this person's interested in the money of your family. Dude's a real freaking loser. So you're in your chariot and you're taking off. You got an Ace of Cups of love and a divine love, 10 of Cups, and the Hierophants right there leading you to it. You got this person there. What in the heck? commitment. There's a commitment here. So you're in your chariot and you're taking your love and your 10 of cups and you're following this Hierophant wherever you go. Or maybe this Hierophant's got it. Maybe you're with the Hierophant. Maybe this Emperor is the Hierophant. Or maybe this is divine masculine and that's God leading you there. But whoever this was, these masculines that were using feminines to try to gain the wealth of divine person. Yeah, now they're mad. Now they're like wanting to strangle this guy because of the crimes they committed. Against you, trying to take from you. Oh, they've been condemned. They've been condemned. They're caught in tensions. These feminines want to wring the neck of these masculines because of what they led them into. They were following the leader and the leader led them wrong. Now they're overloaded and they're saying help. Apparently, you know, they were manipulated about a happy ending. Skeptical. It was a fairy tale promise. They drove their car. Casanova drove the car of these females, telling them that they were going to get a happy ending, but it was a destiny trap. They said that they were going to destiny trap you and then abandon you and then deliver you a fatal blow of loneliness, outcast, and then we've got no exit. Wow. It could be that you're reaching out first. You're not reaching out. This person seeks validation through fame. This puppet escaped. So this puppet escaped a money worshiper. And this person who escaped, it appears, is delivering an ultimatum. And there will be no stepping on the new growth, on the new family trees, preventing future issues by addressing the root causes. Somebody's getting an ultimatum. They're pushing the button. There could be an unexpected event causing somebody to need a lifesaver. There could be some kind of a flood, tsunami. Somebody's drinking the pain away. They're shredding documents. Their life is being torn apart. We got guidance from above. You're guided from above. Willingness to be open to the connection brings graceful understanding and enhances your presence. Clarity arrives when you allow yourself to be receptive. It could be that somebody is now, receiving guidance from above regarding the third-party enemy, this digital whisper. Oh, they're being crushed. Those who were digital whispering, catfishing, and copying you, they're being crushed. Yeah, you got hidden riches, trump card. You've got hidden riches, revealing them only to the worthy. Reserved power. Somebody's spying on you. They're like, oh gosh, that's bad news. You were making endless sacrifices for someone who didn't appreciate it. A hopeless cycle of exertion and defeat from a false flame. But you've got an unexpected surprise here because of the way that they were gambling with your life. Could be that you're going to get some money. There's savings. You could get some money. You found strength in the ability to yield and bounce back. You bend without breaking, and they cannot take it back. There's an impossibility of reversal. They can't come back. The answer is absolutely no. And so they're starting to malfunction. They're starting to malfunction. These people that wanted to be you've broke through your channel, whatever this is. Your channel could be your channel, your messaging system, your organic transmitter receiver messaging system of the Most High Divine. You're a prophet or a prophetess, an oracle. And these Casanovas are so angry. They want to pin their crimes on you because you're telling the story. You're breaking through and promoting your channel. So it could be that whatever the interference was, this false technology, mimicking telepathy and telekinesis and all of that stuff, it could be that you broke through. So yeah, your psychic skills may be increased. Maybe they have been increased. People are talking about a warning that has been given. Those who were they were making allegations to damage somebody's reputation. They were spreading misinformation. And there's a warning here from across distances, miles away. Yeah, because there was a secret weapon, a gift that was stuck in a bad routine that hampered productivity. So they chose sobriety and focused on long-term discipline rather than short-term comfort. So the secret weapon is the gift. They thought that they had you in like a state of alcoholism or some kind of addiction. This gift, they didn't want you to be seen, but you're also the secret weapon. And they've missed their deadline to get a contract with somebody, to get a marriage or a sacrifice or something. So they've missed their contract. So they're losing everything. You survived and you are seen, and they were chasing quick gains, trying to take your honor, wearing a mask. Pizza girl. They were trying to download the value of this innocent, pure divine female. They wanted to mimic her value by having reckless sex, by your soul value is now mine. Yeah, Casanova, that's how he is seen as having value, because he takes it from, and then what gets me so mad is they got these little child pageants, and I've seen some pictures out there recently of these girls cuddling each other while somebody's pointing at them, laughing with Epstein, and you just know that this person is like, he thinks that people should be grateful that he's deflowered them. And, and it just pisses me off, because this is the purity that Casanova is dressing up in and courting with and pulling energy from. It's just not right. So they made an unfair assessment of you, and you are pushing the button. There's a new beginning. There's a reset happening, and whoever this teddy bear wonder boy is that was chasing after petty gains is being imprisoned, and they're trying to project the blame off onto an oracle, obviously, from what we discovered earlier. We're not going to get on here and be questioning the reader about her religious stuff. I'm here telling you a story. I'm not here to be quizzed. So we got harmony, peace, and joy for an independent woman who had been fed upon by this nasty jack. She got it all done. She did the work. She's coming into celebration while all he did was consume. He's an endless consumer, an endless feeder, a needless feeder. She was getting the freaking work done, and he was gobbling up the profits, calling himself a freaking success. And now they're mad because the oracles out there can see the story, and the story is being told. And of course, they want to really do a bad thing. But this emperor is here, and he knows what's been going on. Oh, what's going on? Hey. All right, so there's a celebration here. We got Casanova. Let's see. Keeping a safe distance, avoiding being emotionally vulnerable. Side hustle. The dude was harvesting off of his sexual partners. The walls are closing in. There's no more space for denial, only for resolution. Because the thug is a trickster, a fraud. And he's mad because you're free. And now they're eager to cast the blame onto those who can tell the story, who are receiving the oracle stories. They're furious because the evidence is here. Thank you, Madison. After 20 years of being tortured mentally, energetically, having my energy siphoned, suffering every day, like many times a day, I had to say no, no, no. When they said, just give us your soul, Lori, just give us your soul. You know how tiring it gets to say no to that? Many times a day, every day for decades, man. 20 years, I had to deal with that. It was tough. And it was tough to get settled. So yeah, I thank God, the Holy Spirit led me to do this so that I could settle. And it was very, very helpful to me. So I'm sharing because I'm hoping that maybe it's helpful to others as well. That's what I was thinking too, Barbie. Bumping heads. Okay, so here's the thing. So the emperor is here. He's dealing with tricksters. So leaving behind the thug, the trickster that was bumping heads with twin flames and saying, your soul value is now mine. And then they were prancing around as though they were this and you were that. That's what they were doing with the twin flames. And so once they traded gifts, they left you there with nothing. But that was an illusion, man. They took all your stuff by bumping heads, by this reckless sexual thing. They downloaded all their shit into you and then took all your good stuff and then said that you didn't have nothing. lying, cheating, scammer, trickster, thief. They were bumping heads. They were having these Casanova. It was a side hustle. This is how they gained their wealth. They were prostituting everybody, including themselves. Thank you, Madison. I'm glad that it does help you. That's my intention. Okay, so we're leaving behind the conflict because they were bumping heads with the twin flames and they were acting as though they were them. So it was like they'd have an encounter, grab the essence, the gifts, and then download that into their copycat, and then their copycat would go be with the emperor and then eventually sacrifice the emperor as well, you know? And so it was a big, bad, freaking circular of round and round we go. And these ones are in big trouble now because it's been happening for centuries. But you were able to come up out of that. We got this Emperor and the Hierophant here are calling judgment. Danger is approaching. They were stealing. They were doing this. They were like, hey, baby, oh, I love you. Yeah. And so you would be like, oh, you love me? Oh, okay. And then he'd be like, yeah. So then as soon as he got you and he went in there. Now, please do what you need to do with the genders because I know this is both sides. But as soon as I got you, you know, in that sexual courted connection and they took all your gifts, you know, your clairs and all of that. This guy never had any clairs. He doesn't have any clairs. He doesn't have any gifts. He doesn't have anything at all. He took them from this person and then he used those gifts, the telepathy and all of that, to mind F people and then to paint them as though they were insane and to get them institutionalized. That was straight out of the curator's mouth. He was trying to get at me or someone, probably many, institutionalized by running insanity through the mind. And then once you get on the medicines, it's like, ooh, fish on, and they're all happy, you know, and they feel they own you. Danger is approaching. So it's like those that looks to me like those that they had sacrificed into the land of the dead or whatever are coming up out of the grave, and these ones are going to go in. So why? Because they have a history of trapping people and exploiting them and feeding on them. Side hustle, Casanova, reckless sex without marriage. And even if they were married, they were everybody was bound to whatever this attachment is. This attachment. They were gathering sexual partners and they were side hustling the energy, connections, corded connections, energetic connections, and then exploiting them, feeding on them, feeding whoever this beast is, Leviathan or whatever. And they're getting blocked. They're getting blocked. There's judgment, danger approaching, funeral. According to the history of exploitation, they're being blocked. We've got justice is being served, the law of cause and effect, and we're no longer exchanging gifts that are not matching. We're no longer going to give our gifts, our beautiful clairs and our telepathy and all of our beautiful source-connected gifts, our high vibrational gifts, to low vibrational schwangsters. That ain't going to happen anymore. And they're mad. They're out there really badly trying to cast the blame, project the blame for their own idiocy onto a reader who can pick up on the story. They're upset because they've been caught. karmic lesson. You've learned your karmic lesson. You're not gonna exchange gifts with somebody who's not your match anymore. God won't allow it. I heard never give it back. You will never give it back. Those gifts you will never give back to anybody who is undeserving. God won't allow it because they nearly destroyed everything, and they were going up into the kingdom, into God's space where the people with those big gifts get to go. This person who didn't qualify took the gifts of this person and wound up in that upper dimensional space that she belonged in. But he came in and gave her his little tiny box and took her big box and swapped positions and said, okay, I'm the one with all the gifts and you're a dime a dozen. You have nothing. Well, you learned your karmic lesson and you're like, hey, look, Schwangster, look, Casanova, you're not going to side hustle me. My soul value belongs to me, and these gifts are mine. And you got little trickster, little fraud, little thug. He's got his walls closing in, and he's starting to get real mad. He's spinning in the brain. He's having a freaking panic attack because he's got danger approaching, a funeral, and he wants it to be this woman. He wants it to be this emperor's woman. His bride. Woo. Dude's in trouble. Praying. You prayed for it. So they're having a financial loss because there's a unity. They've been calling you the unifier. They're very mad because their dominance depends on separation. But the divine feminine has been recognized and identified by the divine masculine. And so there's judgment. You survived. And there's judgment now on all the copycats that were playing this game. And they're real mad because they didn't get away with it. So the Page of Swords is having mental energy. They're spinning in the head. False security. This sudden wealth is false security rejected. So the Page of Swords is all up in their head because they've been rejected. We got sudden wealth and rejection. They're not getting it. So the Page of Swords was going after sudden wealth by playing this Casanova game, and they're being rejected. You have strong family ties, and it could be that they have strong family ties that are interested in chasing material gain. Or maybe they were targeting somebody, twin flames. They were targeting strong those twin flames who have strong family ties. This was a war. It was a war. Their favorite weapon of war was relationship. These false flames were interjecting themselves and then bumping heads with a true twin flame, and then downloading that stupid information into their person, their copycat, their catfish, whatever. So it could be that you have strong family ties, or they have strong family ties with interest in the twin flames. They're being rejected. The Hierophant is here regarding the 10 of Cups. You have an Ace of Cups and a Chariot, and you're moving on. You're moving on. Those who were committed to this Casanova stuff, they're caught in tensions. It's like the females that they were using in this project are condemning them, or they're wanting to choke them out because they're being condemned. It was a trap. They are trapped. They're trapped in condemnation. That was very, very bad what they were doing, because you are a beloved child of the Most High, and they abandoned you. They left you hanging on red, you know, at the same time complaining that they miss you, getting readings on you. Maybe they do miss you now, getting readings on you, Divine Feminine. Whoever this jackass is having massive regrets because you've been illuminated to the truth about what is happening here. Your light has revealed the truth about what they've been doing here. And now they're embarrassed and ashamed because you're saying goodbye to those people who were addicted to the sexual encounters, this Casanova, you know, and they're feeling like shit because they were in a love-hate situation with romance. They wanted to get in there to get the wealth, but they hated it at the same time. Ghosted, detached. They would hit it and quit it, you know, just get the corded connection so that they could get the energy, right? With love spells. They would get a family and then arrogantly say, it's my way. And it's too late now because they're in a firestorm of karma. Ooh. For sending love messages as a mask wearer. This was not, so these false flames were shady, pretending to be that. They're under pressure, going round and round and round with this mirror. Yeah, you figured it out. The queen bee figured it out. They didn't know that you were the queen bee. It was a secret. Maybe your GPS is a secret. And these people have legal matters, bad credit. They got a lot of debt. They can't harvest your energy. God's letting you take your gifts back. They'll never get them back. He said you'll never give them back. They will never get these gifts. They will never take them from you again. There's going to be some kind of a fail safe to where this stupid Casanova can't come in and do this anymore. I heard one thing that there's like a thing, like if you have property or business or wealth or something, it's like you can't give it away and you can't sell it. Like when you're done, and then it goes back to God, and then God determines who gets that reward next. So I don't know. It's just whatever that is. Jezebel is having a heartbreak because they're not you. They were pretending to be you, but it was fake news. And now they're running with this shocking news of you're turning your back on the backstabbers, the deceivers, and you're married and you're closing this cycle. Or maybe you're closing this cycle of getting married to people who then were happy being single. Bad news. They could be stalking you from secret accounts. They got some bad news regarding reckless sex to gain spiritual gifts. They're losing sleep because they were tapping people at the workplace to get gifts, to live on the hog. You could have gotten your wish and gotten married. And now somebody's effed up over you. They're in the police station. Why? Because you're fed up with these people using your energy and your gifts from this stupid contract to mislead people. That's what God said anyway. He was fed up. He's fed up with the sweet talk and the fake busy and the freaking psycho that just won't let you go because you love yourself. That's your true colors. You love yourself. This is your true colors. And their true colors is toxic. They wanted you to be seen as that. They wanted you separated. No strings. They're all in their feelings now, drinking to cope because divine masculine is free. And this person's not happy. So divine masculine is free. The emperor is free because the fake person who had been stealing the gifts of his real person, his real empress, Well, they got caught. What can I say? They got caught. And of course, they're going to blame the person who told this story or the people who told this story. So there's a celebration here. We got Casanova doing a side hustle, a trickster fraud, using his appendage to gain connection and to tag a womb of power and then draw off of it. And unfortunately, you know, a lot of these women were young girls and virgins when they were assaulted by Casanova. So, you know, who then courted with that before they even had a chance to make any decisions. They didn't grow. There's a celebration. Casanova was doing a side hustle. They were harvesting beautiful, potent energy out of the divine feminines, and they didn't grow. They were just spending it. You're free of this person or these people. The walls are closing in on the trickster. He's desperately trying to get attached to another female. This is a thug. A ghost. This is a dead man. He's got the value of a dead man. The only way that Casanova can appear to be Casanova is by tapping and tagging lots of women. It's a harvest. The more wombs they have corded to their appendage, the wealthier they are. Some of these folks, I heard one invisible man say to another, "You have your harem." So it's like somebody has their harem, and they were like comparing wallets, you know, or whatever. And this one who doesn't have a harem was all upset because the person who had a harem had more wealth, more power, more energy. So yeah, so we got the Emperor is here, leaving behind the abusive relationships, those who had been bumping heads with twin flames and then mimicking them. A fraud, a copycat, trying to destroy an actual divine feminine by sending in their gigolo to harvest the gifts. Or whatever. Maybe the gigolo just came in and said, "Okay, pet, okay, kitty, you're going to wear this energy and you're going to mimic this person," whatever. So either there's judgment called, danger approaching, there's like the dead are rising, they're coming up out, they're coming up out of the grave. And the other ones are going in, it looks like. Teamwork. Something about teamwork. It could be this is the end of their teamwork, their ability to work with others, to exploit others. That's exactly it. Because in the history, they were exploiting people and now they're being blocked. So there's no more teamwork. Nobody wants to work with them. Nobody wants to work with them. This is the funeral for their teamwork. Nobody wants to work with them because they're only self-interested, feeding on the little mice. They just feed the little bright, shining mice, the little ones that are vulnerable. So justice is being served on these people taking the big gifts of divine feminine and divine masculine, and then transferring them into their copycat, and then trapping the other party of the twin flame. This has all been watched. It's been observed. It could be you learning your karmic lesson has been watched. Maybe you're being watched right now by your haters and by those who have determined whether you are worthy of moving forward or not. So we've got the Five of Pentacles now. Somebody's having a financial loss over this unifier, over this unity that you prayed for. Faithful, loyal, prayerful people. You know, and this is not religion. This is like straight up faith, you know, and it's not about, you know, it's like these religious wars have been going on for centuries, man. So many people have been tortured and died in such a heinous way because of religion. And it just makes me crazy because there's unity and diversity. It's not difficult to love the Creator. It doesn't require, you know, anybody freaking dying. You either choose God or not. So you're praying, faith and healing. There's preparations being made. You're praying, there's preparations. We've got this Page of Swords who is looking at sudden wealth. They're being rejected. Their sudden wealth is being rejected for this Page of Swords because they're a negative influence. Thank you, Cute Divine. So they're a negative influence. They've got strong family ties that are interested in the wealth of the twin flames. Ooh, wrath. They're under wrath. Oh, there's wrath. They're getting wrath. These family ties. It could be that you have new strong family ties that are dealing with those. I don't know. This person here, this page who is going after the money is being rejected due to being a negative influence. They have strong family ties that are interested in the wealth of twin flames. And they've been going around cheating and stealing, bumping heads, transferring soul value. And now they're getting wrath. Wrath is coming upon them. And they want to blame. They want to push the blame off on Divine Feminine again. This twin flame that they had been mimicking. They want her to take the blame. So the Hierophant is here regarding the Ten of Cups. You have a big old Ace of Cups, a proposal and a marriage here. An oath. University and diversity. I mean, unity and diversity. So, and whatever. So yeah, you're in your chariot and you're taken off. And these women who were committed to this Casanova are caught in the tensions. They're wrapping their hands around his throat. They're like, what the hell did you get us involved in? Well, he got you involved in a trap. Why? Because he needs your energy, and you took orders very, very well, you know. So it's like God said they were the new fodder. So it could very well be that they are trapped with this entity or whoever was behind this Casanova hustle, and they're the new fodder, it looks like. And they weren't looking at that because you've flown, you've risen, you're going away. So they're being condemned. They're wanting to choke out Casanova for this stupid side hustle, this illusion. This trickster led them down the wrong path and cut them. Like they're in big trouble for mimicking this Emperor's Divine Feminine, his twin flame. Oh my gosh, there's a big price to pay for that. Nature. They caused a whole bunch of upheaval for nature. They brought a lot of damage to the planet. Maybe it's their nature to cause upheaval wherever they go. with their trickery, mimicking the twin flame and then leaving them alone, trapped in a mirror, communicating as them. So they're being released, but they are offering resistance. Or they're being released and the sacred space is having resistance due to the history of what's been going on in the territory. There is going to be additional protections and we're going in a new direction because of the mischief and the risk that everybody has been subject to. There's a warning here. There's a warning. So they were bad. So we got luck, fish falling from the sky, wealth falling from the sky. The night, those of the night dwellers were battling you for it by astral projecting into your house, discovering what it is you did, and then mimicking you perfectly. They're in grief here because you survived. And now everything they're doing to you is they can't affect you with anything, and they're being displaced because they were scavenging off of you and off of everything and everyone, causing distractions for people. You're free here. You're free and you're soaring, you're leaving. And there's an anticipation of balance being restored for the gifts, because this person is no longer going to be taking these big gifts, these big clairs, or these big fantastic abilities when they obviously aren't qualified to be connected to those things. They will never, ever take those back. God said no, never give it back. You will never give it back. You will never give your clairs to any of your wealth that God has provided for you to anybody that is just there to side hustle you. Look, planting seeds and abundance. So somebody was pulling up your seeds that you were planting for abundance, and then they were dominating you, dominating your abundance. They didn't want you to be seen as successful. So they kept spending the wealth. Playing, power of three, playing with the over and back rule. Going over into the dark, doing sacrifices, coming over into the light, playing like they're innocent. They're in fear now because you have a heart bond and insight. You're the golden one, like a royal one. And you went into the deep, dark pit of hell and rooted there, and then you came back up and got your crown back, and you're like, now you got all this information flowing in all of your system about everything that was happening in all ways. We've got a community of anomalies. And the mirror magic, it was an illusion with an upside down perspective. They're going to go to a distance. They're going to have to stay far away because they've been exposed with about a commitment to an empty nest. They did not want any more of these of twin flames being born. So they were hijacking their unions in order to make certain that they didn't create children together. So there's a celebration here. Casanova was tapping in to all of these flowers, these wombs of power, and side hustling. He's tapping into their womb of power, and he was extracting the energy of life from them. He did not grow at all. He could have been limiting other people's opportunity for growth by keeping them in this cycle of, this mimicry. We got absent. So they didn't grow, and they're feeling your absence. So you're free. You're free. And the walls are closing in on this trickster. Like there's bars up. He's trying to kiss a woman through the bars. The walls are closing in. He's like, wait, come back. This Casanova really needs you. This thug is a ghost. It's a dead man. This is a walking corpse. He needs this energy in order to stop himself from decomposing. And the more that he tapped into, the more powerful he was. But he doesn't actually have any life in him. He's not his own source of power. This is wild. This is wild. Oh boy. So he doesn't know if they'll ever change, but he wants to fix the connection. Isn't that something? Of course he does. It's a ghost. It's a thug. They don't have any life in them. If they don't mend the connection, they're dead. That's a funeral. They're a zombie. They're a walking zombie. It's an animated corpse, animated by all of this sexual encounters they have. So the Emperor is here, leaving behind the conflict, the abusive relationships, because we've got these entities here, these women were bumping heads. Like the Casanova would come in and then deflower a child or a girl or whatever and grab those gifts that belong to that beautiful lit up shining one, and then they would download it into this person, and then they would pretend to be that twin flame, and then they would go target the masculine and then trap him in a sacrifice. Soul contract. They were bumping heads and mimicking the twin flame and taking their soul contract, stealing their honor. Cycle after cycle. So now judgment has been called. Danger is approaching. We've got this is the end. There's a funeral. There's a funeral for the team work. This is the end of their teamwork. Nobody wants to work with them. They're not going to be able to work with anybody anymore. They're overwhelmed. They're stressed out. They have to manage the load on their own. They have a history of exploiting people, and now they're being blocked because of their self-interest. They were feeding on people with this sexual Casanova stuff. They were actually feeding on people, consuming them. And it's all going to happen to them too. Reciprocity. So what they have done to you will be done to them. Justice is being served. They have to get the gifts back. They never should have had access to those gifts. Apparently, it was forbidden for them to have access to these beautiful gifts. They weren't qualified. It was a trick. It was an illusion. So now they're being watched, or you were being watched. You learned your karmic lesson with this Casanova, and there is people gossiping about this. Now, Casanova, they got to say, they're like, you have to be innocent. They have to be a virgin. They have to be, blah, 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 blah. Some of y'all gave up this side hustle a long time ago, and you've been celibate for, years, if not decades. And so you could very well be virgin-like. And Nasty Jack is just pissed because your energy is pure. You've transmuted every single thing. All of the cords and connections are cut. Nobody is interfering with your energy. You're seen as pure because you don't have any Casanova shit going on in your energetic field. So So they're in a Five of Pentacles here because there's unity and diversity because of an oath, your oath. You've been faithful, doing the work to heal, meditating, connecting with source. There's preparations here being made for the unworthy. Now on this card, that crow is dropping the clam onto the street where the car will run it over and crack open that shell, and then they can eat the meat. So it looks like there's preparations being made for those who have been found unworthy. Take it as it resonates. You're seen as faithful. You're the unifier, according to the adversary or this curator. You're the unifier. You've rooted deeply into the under, and you have been crowned in high into the light. Oopsie! I keep pushing the wrong button. So Page of Swords is restless because they thought that money was security, and they've been rejected this money because they are a negative influence in the world and they don't know what to do. They're like, oh no. They have strong family ties that were chasing material gain of the twin flames, and now they're receiving wrath. They sabotaged themselves. And of course, they've been saying that all along. Sabotage yourself, sabotage yourself. You know, they were actually sabotaging people, but they were trying to project that it was the people sabotaging them own selves. This is what they do. They do something, and then especially if somebody notices, they project it out and say it was the other person, that they were the bad person. That's how narcissist, misogynist, parasitical, you know, dead people, that's how they talk. They're everywhere. Holding back. They don't have any roots and they don't have any flowers. They don't have anything to offer anybody. They never did the shadow work. They would go into the shadows, but they didn't do the work. They would sacrifice a twin flame of somebody, and then they would mimic them. Then they would mimic them and try to get into the soul contract that belonged to a high vibrational freaking person here. And you're dealing with those people with hardly anything, and they come up and then they scavenge these gifts. They turn heaven into a hell. They turn heaven into a hell. Holding back. So they're being held back. They're being condemned by God. They're trapped. They're being held back. You have flown. You are seen as irreplaceable. The way you love cannot be matched, and it's too late for these ones to do anything about it. You aren't who they are. Those gifts were all yours, and they were using your gifts to hurt the people you love. The Divine Mother. It's like they cursed the crown of the mothers, the women, and then they took their big gifts, their clairs, their communications with the source, and then they took it over and then pretended that they were that, and they led everybody down a wrong path. You're irreplaceable and you're soaring away. So, and it's too late. They can't do anything about it. Somebody wants to talk, but there is still unfinished business going on. You never gave up on each other. And this reflection is in disagreement. They're having an emotional problem. They're confused. They want forgiveness, or maybe they're confused about your forgiveness. But there's an understanding of what's been going on here. And, you know, they were neglecting you, abandoning you, detaching you, putting a ring on it, and then neglecting you, detaching from you. And so I guess either they were unsatisfied, maybe God's unsatisfied, but they were daydreaming about being you, and then they just set out to destroy you. They're guilty of it. They were not able to separate you from love or this reunion or being reunited with your true twin flame. They were not able to hijack this union this time, and somebody is feeling shattered about it and running. They're running. They didn't appreciate the beauty of life. They just wanted the money that went with your destiny. And now they're in regret for laughing and joking and having such a great time while you suffered alone, because you had a soul tie and you were responsible for families, and you are escaping this shadow side, this passion project of prideful people. Unexpected outcome. They've missed their opportunity chasing after you. The truth has been revealed. You love yourself. You loved yourself to health, even when the whole world decided to just tromp on you and treat you like trash. And now they're hurting from the damages that they've caused, from the lies that they have told. You're getting a new chapter. And those who lied on you made mistakes, and they can't undo their wrongs. They wish they could, but they can't. You're out of here. And you know, there's an energy that's coming in from these masculines. They're very mad, you know, that you made it out divine feminine, and they're getting choked out by their female karmics because they were sold a lie. They were told that they were going to get to be with this emperor, but this emperor, you know, perhaps he's been through this before and he didn't want to wind up with another karmic, so he really did the research. And you know, divine feminine may not be exactly what she once was, because she's been living in this with this stupid little thing here. But you know what? Even though they took everything, she still came up out of that. And I think it's because God resurrected the ones from the trap. It was time. There was a contract, or there was some kind of a sentencing. Yeah, it was like the statute of limitations had to wear off or something in order for anybody to actually be able to legally do something. And so anyway, that was the statute of limitations expired. And I think that was in 2023. And so for the last few years, it's just been boom, shakalaka boom, 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 boom. And it's always at this time when somebody chooses to do it. If my memories, okay, because I've got memories of like at least 3 different death scenarios for me. But it's always at the time when you're at your most happiest, or when you're right about to be in your most happiest state, that they come in and they take. Thank you. Hello. So we've got a celebration here because Casanova was doing the side hustle with these reckless sexual encounters, and they didn't grow. And now he's feeling like part of him is missing without you. Of course, you were his source, his energetic source. We've got, both these cards came out. So there's photographic evidence. There might be mysteries, some kind of like, there might be photographic evidence of some mystery. There might be some kind of photographic evidence of some mystery. So they're feeling your absence because they didn't grow. They didn't have permission. They was like, they should not. That was forbidden. They had no. They were not properly prepared for these gifts that were exchanged. I mean, they didn't have any clairs, no nothing. All they had was an appendage, a stiffy. And they said, "Ooh, I love you, honey. Come on," because he's like, "Ooh, yeah, I want all that." But he knew what he was going to do with her. He was going to flip her to South Node and take her download and stick it into this person and have her go target the powerful masculine and then get him trapped, mimicking, trying to get this soul contract and all of the wealth and all of the status and all of the authority that goes with it. And then they screw people up and trap people like that. Bad thugs. So in the challenge position, we've got this Page of Wands. We've got freedom, excitement. You're very inspired. And the walls are closing in on Casanova, the trickster, the phony. This thug is a ghost. They have the value of a dead man. The only way that they can appear to be vibrant or successful in any way is to have many sexual partners or to unalive people and harvest the energy out of them. They want to mend the connection, but they're never going to change their patterns. You're a fiercely independent woman, and they've been targeting you. So, Baker type gold scar. Are you saying what's this? L. Elyon Spawn. What is that? Are you saying you're Elon? What the hell? What are you talking about? The Emperor is leaving behind the conflict. Those who were bumping heads with the twin flames and mimicking them and trying to get into these soul contracts, they're in trouble. Big, big trouble. Big, big trouble. Yeah, they were stealing soul contracts. Look, man. Look. So they were stealing the soul contracts of twin flames by doing this kind of crazy stuff. These false flames going in there and trading gifts. And I don't know that they were actually having an encounter like this. Like I said, like there's men who deflower young girls and they take without asking, you know, by forcing that kind of a connection. So they've been harvesting this beautiful big gift out of the divine feminine for a long time. These toxic attachments, downloading their toxic attachments, their addictions, and all of their other kind of craps. And now this is the end of their opportunity. This clown, their camouflage, their freaking, their performance has been revealed. And it could be that you're about ready to meet your person, your emperor. So those addicts, this clown who is addicted to you is going to be faced with an empty room because you're about ready to come in to with your person. You're probably already connected in the other realm. What the heck? Somebody's tired of me talking. Judgment has occurred. Danger is approaching. There's a funeral. Nobody wants to work with this team. This is the end of their teamwork. Somebody's overwhelmed and stressed out. Third parties. The history is here of exploitation. They're being blocked because of their self-interest for eating the little tiny white mouse, the purity, the little one, the children. And that's going to happen to them. Reciprocity. They're the new fodder. We've got a commitment here. Exploitation. Exploitation They were self-interested. They were consuming the energy and life of others, and now they're being blocked. We've got everything that they did to you is going to happen to them, and you've got a commitment. Your protection, your protector is made a pledge to you to what? Reciprocate equally with you, to return whatever these people did to you. Justice is here, the law of cause and effect. They have to give back all of your gifts. They're going to lose all those gifts. They're not going to have any more opportunity for gifts. No more exchanging nothing for something. You have been observed. You have learned your karmic lessons. And people are gossiping about the shadow here. People are gossiping about the other side. The other side, this person is deeply rooted in the shadows and crowned in the light, the power of the light. You've learned your karmic lessons, and these guys, they want to say that you're unqualified for this advancement because of plant medicine, that it appears maybe you may smoke once in a while, and they call that desecration. And I'm like, you're RAPing children, and you're stealing from women while enslaving them and forcing them to serve or be birthing people, or genetically experimenting with birthing people through their womb. And this just isn't right. They're calling it, what the hell? I mean, they're twisted, man. They make no sense. So the Five of Pentacles, because there's unity and diversity, it's like everybody came together without prejudice, and they combined their skills, and they like, boom, shakalaka, end of story, right? So they're prayerful, faithful people. And so there is a preparation of the unworthy being made for fodder, it looks to me. They're losing all their money, and they're the new fodder. It's their turn to go, feed whatever this is that they have to feed in the shadows. They're running away. There could be a forgotten person running away. Like this may have happened many lifetimes ago, and they've been stringing you along and stealing your honor lifetime after lifetime. And they tried to do it this time too, but this emperor wasn't having it this time. He was like, oh no, and you may have been wearing this karmic energy for so many lifetimes that there may be some patterning that isn't totally favorable. But what do you expect when you live in hell for cycle after cycle, being abused by these side hustlers? Damn. Well, yeah, we got this zombie right here. And then we got funeral. Is that what you're saying? And then fowls of the air. Yeah. Maybe. Could be. I actually visited a place once in the astral where there were like pterodactyls. You know those big birds, like the pterodactyls that fly, the huge ones? They were actually flying around. I almost was sacrificed for a volcano. This group of fellas were they had me in the back of this old truck. They were taking me up there to throw me to the volcano. And I decided I was going to poke their eyes out with my pen. Gee, what the So there's a forgotten person. You may not remember this person. In another lifetime, they probably unalived you and then stole your gifts and transferred it into this person. And then they've been like stealing your honor and your identity cycle after cycle. It's all falling apart now. And their solution at this stage of the game is to unalive a whole bunch of people and then pretend that you never did win. But I think God's going to take them out. They're running away right now. This forgotten person, they're like, oh no, they're running. They're running. And then we got some folks out there that are playing, big shot. So the page here was, they thought money was the ticket, but they're getting rejected because they're a negative influence. And now they don't know what to do. They don't know what to do. Okay, well, that was a little messy. Let me do it over. They don't know what to do. Cause Ray, no, I don't do personals, but not at this time. Maybe after a little while when things calm down, if I survive or whatever, then maybe I might get a little more serious about it. Right now, it's just kind of like sharing information. This came out in the reverse, and they're not firm, so they're not feeling very decisive. Again, they don't know what to do. They're feeling a little clouded in the mind. They got strong family ties, interested in chasing the gains of twin flames. So these twin flames, they're separated by parallel dimensions, and they're learning their lessons, their karmic lessons, and they're being tested and watched. And then there's a time when they learn their lessons, and then they come back together as a match, right? Once they graduate and survive and do all that stuff. Well, then you got these guys, they come in at the last minute and they like what? They get rid of your 3D vessel. They're like, and then they do this, whatever. I don't know what they do. All I know is that this has been going on for cycle after cycle. And now it's going a little differently because the Emperor found his real twin flame and is very committed. Ascending. Yep. So they were committed to chasing the gains that twin flames made while they were separated and learning their lessons. They were supposed to come together and then build, but you got these false flames going in there, having these weird things where they were bumping heads. Bumping heads, I don't know if that means an intimate encounter. They need a relationship. Like, what is that? A partnership, some kind of a contract, some kind of a job, some kind of an agreement, some kind of an entanglement. Like somebody may have hired somebody, and then they take the gifts. They extract. So this has been going on a while. And then they dump their attachments, like whatever demon attachments they have, they like download that into the person, the real twin flame, and then they kind of take on a karmic lifestyle. This has been going on, and this time it's a little different. This time you may have been led by the divine to cut out the intimate encounters, to like purify, and get to know yourself and do your shadow work so that you can become whole and be prepared for your alignment, your meeting here. Oh, thank you, Baker type gold scar. So the mirror is an uninvited guest. I mentioned this the other day. Like, I had a vision of, there was like a mirror. There was like a field, like a farmer's field that had been freshly harvested or whatever. And a door opened. It was like a mirror, and it opened, and out walked a man. So it's like there's doorways, and these interdimensional travelers have been coming into our realm here, targeting the divine twin flames and stealing the wealth out of that, and then trapping them in this separation. And it's been going on for centuries. And finally, it has been brought to an end. Why? Because the Hierophant's here, because God's here, because God resurrected the twin flames and then matched them with their person. And then here we are. So the street exhibit, the purity of the rose, never gave up hope for reconciliation. They may have sang loud soul song, hoping to be recognized, hoping for a miracle. They may have let go and surrendered to the divine, using their sixth sense only. Letting go, just kind of going with the flow, right? So you're ascended and you may be getting some kind of a reward for taking the risk and solving the puzzle that was happening to the roses, the apples, the daughters of Eden. You solved the puzzle because you were able to survive and bring forth your testimony. And now these casanovas that were side hustling the womb of power of the rose is in trouble. They're in trouble. They're going to have eternal regret because of this divine intervention, this serendipity, this catalyst. And now you're getting a new beginning, and it's divine timing. Yeah, because the snake is just trash. Yeah. And there could be some kind of communications happening about a breakup, because this was forbidden for them to come in and take the gifts of a divine being and then to pose as that while tormenting them. You've received evidence, the crown. You fell to tell. It's like their royalty fell to tell. They went into some of the most painful, dark experiences and brought forth the evidence like a true royal would. And now, law, justice, the scales are being balanced for the roses, for those sacrifices, for those who had their gifts stolen from them and were mistreated so terribly. It's like they have to leave you alone in your home. Your home is a sacred space, and they have to leave you alone. And now they're drinking because there's unfinished business here about those who are going back and forth. You have talent. You've discovered the core of the problem. You could be the key, the one who failed to tell, the one who brought forth all of this information to bring a pause to what was happening and to bring about a transformation to the experience of people. And night is falling here, so the sun is setting on these experiences because you have revealed the hidden truth regarding these intelligent animals. And they are being silenced. They're losing those clairs. They didn't belong to them. They did not receive permission to have access to those spaces and places, and they miss them. Of course they do. They misused these clairs that they never qualified for in order to torment and torture purity, innocence. The people who actually earned the gifts were getting tormented by their own damn gifts, by a jealous jackwagon who did not qualify for such gifts. Exactly, Baker. Prophets, oracles. The oracles were burned. Anybody who had telepathic abilities, because nasty Casanova didn't want anybody telling anybody about how nasty they truly are. They didn't want anybody to see the nastiness that they were projecting and sticking and deceitfully convicting other people's of doing. Hello. Indians rising, yeah. I had a vision, what looked like a chief. Yep, he's in his land right now. He's got his land. So God said the land was going back to them, and I had a vision. It was so beautiful. He's free. Yeah. So yeah, burned. They burned you over and over and over again, according to this curator of human life force and this slaver, whatever. They burned divine feminine over and over again. They stripped her of her powerful gifts, traded her with that, claimed that she was nothing, and then burned her because she's a telepath. They were trying to destroy the mind and the soul of a seer, of this emperor's twin flame. There's evidence of it. Page of Wands, excitement and free. The walls are closing in on the trickster. This thug is a ghost. It's a walking corpse. They want to mend the connection, but they're never going to change these habits. You are independent and free. Powerful shadow, powerful light, perfectly balanced. And these people are very childish. They should have never messed with you. Someone has to be an adult in the room, and that would be you. So the Emperor is here. He is leaving behind the conflict, the abusive relationships, this bumping heads thing with twin flames to copycat them and then mimic them and become in union with the other twin flame, just so that this clown could sacrifice them also. So there's these people who are addicted to your energy and addicted to alcohol or whatever other drugs, or have toxic attachments, are looking forward to an empty room. Their performance has failed. Their revenge attempt has failed. Perhaps vengeance is coming to them now. You're going to be meeting your person, or maybe they are going to, yeah, it looks like you're going to be meeting your person. They made it very rocky for you. Been a rough road. They're under judgment. Danger is approaching. There's a funeral teamwork. It could be that the team that worked with they're going to be passing away, or nobody wants to work with them anymore. Overwhelmed, the stress is draining them. These affairs, these third-party affairs, this crazy drama. They're in a rabbit hole. They're in some kind of a rabbit hole due to the history of this self-interest, this consuming of innocence and purity. They were exploiting people, and they are getting blocked. Everything that they have done to the innocent people is going to be reciprocated back. And it could be that you have a commitment, an oath. Maybe there's a commitment by your protector to do that, this emperor. And it could very well be that he's just committed to giving you what you need. But it looks to me like both of you are doing what? Look, we got escape. So you're escaping. You're going to get this commitment with this emperor, you and your twin flame, regardless of what has happened to you in the past. This person is committed to being equal with you. Love has offered you an escape, the love that you have. So there's a commitment to equal give and take. Love has offered you an escape. This Casanova who is exploiting people is being blocked. Justice is happening. There's no more, this isn't, what's happening here, there's no more exchanging gifts for nothing. You're not going to give anything away. God said, never give it back. You will never give it back. Casanova is not ever going to receive these gifts. Again, they will have to become worthy of it. There's not going to be stealing none of that stuff from anybody. You have been observed. Everybody has been watching from above, and you have been observed. You've learned your karmic lesson. People are talking about the other side, about the shadow side. There's a lot of gossip. Perhaps people are gossiping in the shadows. We've got distance. They have to stay away from you. They're going to go far away. They're not permitted in your energy. Boomerang. So they're in a Five of Pentacles because there's unity and diversity. And this is the thing, you know, people, so we got prayer for people, right? It's really simple. This thing called life. It just is. But we've got childish Casanova tyrants out there who are stealing the purity and the gifts of innocence, who have made it complicated because they don't want anybody to ever figure it out. You know, they don't ever want, they make like a simple contract, they turn it into 500 pages because they sneak all kinds of crap in there that they don't want anybody to find out. And, you know, they give you little time to read it so that you just have to get it done, right? And it's just a scam. Cheater, freaking liar, thieving scam. Obvious, you know. Everything is crumbling. And that's the thing, you know, there's no money, man. There's no money. There's a lot of talk about a lot of money coming in, but there's no applications. Like there's no programs. It's like programs are being canceled and everything's being shut down, but there's no replacement program. So it's like we've got all these trillions of dollars. Well, where is it going, man? Because I certainly don't see it. I see people going without. No, I don't think they are Baker. They're pod people. They're this other dimension where they're from. It's like there's no women. They're like all men. I mean, they send some women there just because they're all men and they hate women. But they come in through these mirror doors and they come in as pairs, and then they tag a divine feminine, and then they kind of extract that out. And they've been harvesting, chasing the gains out of twin flames. And what they do is they target the divine feminine. They come in as a false flame and they pretend that they're this person's emperor, and then they screw it all up, and then everybody gets trapped. But not this time. The emperor said no. So things are crumbling for them now. This forgotten person, whoever this is that did this to you so long ago, they've been found unworthy now, and they're trying to run because they're the new fodder. God said they have to go feed whatever they've been feeding these beautiful divine beings to. So, you know, yeah, they scurried up. So the Page of Swords is having a restless mind. It was money. It was false security. They're being rejected for being a negative influence. They're indecisive. They don't know what to do. They're kind of cloudy in the head. They're not clean. They might not be bathing. They might be doing drugs. They broke all their promises. They didn't keep any promise that they made. Not one. They're wishy-washy, looking for a wealthy freaking lifestyle, but they're wishy freaking washy. They can't even, they probably don't even have a job. They just go F people. They just go have sex for a living. They're a prostitute. And you know, these divine feminines who actually do the work to earn these gifts are targeted by them. And they're like, ooh, baby, I got a swing. I love you. Let's get it on. You know, get out of here, man. Leave us alone. They're receiving wrath for what they have done here. They've been harvesting the wealth out of twin flames while keeping them separated in parallel dimensions. And then mirroring with these bumping heads, these stupid mimickers, then they start mirroring that the actual twin flame is out there. They do. They pose as the twin flame, and then they go out and be a harlot and break the heart of this person, and then everything falls apart, and then everybody's trapped, and then everybody gets fed upon. But this time the emperor found his true twin. And heads are rolling. Heads are rolling. Endings. So the Hierophant is got the 10 of Cups here, a divine love. Total love and support is what this is all about. You've got an Ace of Cups. You are a very loving being. Thank you. Thank you for the gift. Appreciate it. Happy New Year. So you are an Ace of Cups, overflowing love, no matter what it looks like. That little jackwagon took all of your gifts, and it may have taken many, many lifetimes in order to get it back. You had to re-earn your honor, and they were trying to take it from you again this time, but not this time. They're not taking it from you this time. Your emperor found you, and this is ending. So you're in your chariot, you got a victory, you're moving on. Those who were committed to Casanova are strangling him now because they're being condemned. This could be publicly condemnation. They don't have any roots. They never did their shadow work. They never produced children or anything of benefit for anybody. They didn't do a damn thing, and they fell into a trap. You have soared, you have risen, and therefore they are trapped. The way that you love cannot be matched. You are irreplaceable. This is time, and it's too late for them to take any action regarding your elevation. This is ending. And they're pretending that it's not ending, but it's time to let go because it's time for a fresh start. Yeah. And those who were effing their way to the top, everything that they made by being a prostitute and hurting others and betraying love is going to fall away in ruins to make room for the love that you deserve. They were not telling the whole truth. They were lying about you, leaving you there without any needs. They left you alone. They abandoned you, and now they're drowning. They're going under, and they're being crushed by this lion. Fierce aggression. They're reaching out for love, but love is eluding them because you're tired, man. The dark side has been feeding on you for centuries, and you're tired, and you deserve a break from this. You're tired, so you're leaving. Or the weeds are leaving. Because they were playing games with the diamonds with the wealth of these divine feminines that were here to help them. Rather than do the work and elevate, they just took everything from her and buried her under neglect. They got caught up in a whirlwind. They were blind. And there's an exit plan. This divine feminine, this divine masculine are matchy-matchied, and they're leaving. Somebody's freaking leaving, and they're leaving with their cup empty is what they're doing. The shadow world, they're full of anxiety. Their cup is empty. They're looking forward to struggle. They're grieving. They might be struggling now, but they can't untangle themselves from this web because they were tempted by Satan to destroy the lives of many flames. And they've been found guilty. They have to face a long road of struggle. They're going to have a long way to go before they find what they want. But the journey helps them grow. So they have an opportunity to grow. And I heard the divine say, if you survive, then you will get the reward. But they have to go through every single thing that they put you through. Times however many times they did it. Plus however much interest God says they owe. Shall we keep going? What time is it? Oh, it's after 10? Wow. That's wild. I guess it has been a couple hours, hasn't it? Carlene, no, but I don't either. I certainly don't. I don't wish any harm on anybody. I simply wish them to leave us alone, to stop. And, God is going to have to do that however he does that. And it appears to me it's going to be this. So, all we can really do is try to stay calm, because there's a lot of energies out there right now that are panicking because there's nowhere for them to go, but they have to leave. And not just the planet. Apparently they got to get out of the entire universe. They have to leave the entire universe. I don't know where God's going to put them, but they can't be here. And they're angry, and they think that the way to stop this from happening is to get to this emperor's person, this irreplaceable person that they're committed to. Well, I got a few more decks. I got all kinds of cards here, and we could keep on going with the story for sure. It is live, I don't know exactly. Lauren, yeah, we all been in that. Gods. They're not gods. Casanova, a freaking, they glorify and worship this little flange, this little phallus they got hanging off their body. That's not godlike. That's not godlike. I don't think that's that. They should not be calling themselves gods for sure. Well, then I suppose. Oh crap! I'm at 10%. I can't keep going. I gotta shut it off. My phone just alerted me. I'm at 10%. I'm gonna have to go. I'll have to go, everybody. Lance, get out of here, you little hoe bag. Happy trails to you until we meet again. Well, good night, everybody.